Take a look at all these beautiful faces. These are the faces of class presidents, cheerleaders, neighbors, brothers, sisters, daughters, sons. They're all no longer with us. They're all victims of this horrible opioid crisis. And we've been talking about this a lot on 11 Alive. We had our Triangle investigation that is continuing. And now other people are talking about it. And just today, the Attorney General of Georgia talked about it in the State House, saying, you know what, we need to do something because this cannot continue. So another task force is being formed to take a look at this. We know the president has a commission looking at it as well. So we're going to have a discussion about this tonight. I want to begin with Jeremy Campbell, who's really been leading our investigation here on 11 Alive, to give us a little bit of background about what is happening.
For most people, heroin addiction starts with one pill, an opioid that may be in your medicine cabinet, labeled as Demerol for pain or hydrocodone for a sports injury or wisdom tooth surgery. What starts with that little pill can end in an overdose death. It has for 982 Georgia families in the last year. This week, 37 attorney generals nationwide signed a letter pushing insurance companies to limit prescriptions for these potentially deadly pills. These pills, according to the White House Commission on Combating Drug Addiction, are killing people in our nation at a rate similar to the rate of lives lost in 9/11 every 3 months. Most of the deaths are young people, yet the CDC says 44% of overdoses are 45 and older. Your age, income, and zip code don't matter. It's an equal opportunity addiction.
And I want to introduce who we have with us. We have obviously Jeremy Campbell with us and two brave people sitting next to you tonight who are going to help us walk through all of this. Robin Elliott, you lost your son to this crisis. Lindsay Sizemore also with us. You've turned your life around, and we're so glad that you're here. Jeremy, but I want to start with you, with what's happening today with the Attorney General.
Well, this week, Vinny, it seems to be Attorney General week. Today, Georgia's Attorney General launched a task force. He said that they're going to tackle this issue by talking about it. Robin, I wanted to ask you, is a task force what we need right now?
I mean, I think that we need all the help we can get. I think that every step forward is valuable. But to be honest, I'm already on 2 task forces. One is state of Georgia, and another one is Fulton County. So I'd like to see a little more action and a little less talk.
As far as that action goes, back to the AGs, the Attorney Generals, nationwide 37 have gotten together. They're going after the insurance companies saying,
is that, I'm wondering, is that the way to go? I mean, yeah. It starts with the prescription, right? And you get to fill a prescription, someone's got to pay for it, so.
And the insurance companies are the money.
So.
Well, the Ohio AG is suing 5 pharmaceutical companies. So is that the way to go? Because there's the insurance aspect, but then there's also going directly after these companies.
My bridge partner is 80 years old. She had knee surgery, and the doctor gave her 100 OxyContin. 100. She took 6. She took 6.
100 pills.
After she took 6, she went to Aleve. And I said to her, thank God you don't have a teenager living in your house.
Who just got his wisdom teeth out and has 100 pills.
100 pills.
Well, CVS, the same week, they are limiting the number of opioids. If you get a prescription now, you just get a week's worth. So that's corporate America taking a stance on this.
Now, Lindsay, you've lived through this.
Yes.
And you've survived,
yes.
Thankfully.
Yes. It started with one pill, and it turned into a 12-year addiction. And it took so much.
Do you remember that day, the first pill?
I do remember. I do remember. It was actually a relationship that I was in. It turned into just something very small, and then you didn't realize that, but it took over. It took over your life, it took over your mind, and you lost all control.
We just saw the photos of your life on the screen from high school cheerleader to this moment.
Right.
Remember that day. What happened after this?
Shortly after that, I found myself living in the streets. I was homeless. My addiction led me to being incarcerated for 3 years. And we're talking about treatment tonight, and that is where I came to my crossroads, and I was able to, in a very desperate place, be able to find and seek out help for the first time because I couldn't take care of myself and I needed some help. I needed someone to help me figure out who I was and to help me realize that my life was worth living.
I'm a big believer that sometimes the worst thing to ever happen to us leads to the best.
Right.
And I think of you
Yeah.
on that jailhouse floor
Yes.
when your life turned around and you got involved in a recovery group. And now you're leading the charge for other people.
Well, the most important thing I realized was that I couldn't do this by myself. For so long, I was fighting this battle that I wasn't getting any help from doctors. I wasn't getting any help that I really needed. It was only feeding my addiction. So when I realized and had this breaking point that I couldn't do it by myself and I needed someone that was willing to take their time and be open-minded and look past the orange jumpsuit and look past the charges and to be able to look at the person inside, to be able to help me, I found it.
And Robin, are you, and your story is so tragic, but you've done so much and you've got your eyes wide open on all this. Do you feel like things are turning and eyes are opening and maybe we can have more stories like this where people can get help and maybe even prevent the opioid problem?
I think it's complicated. I think that more and more people are using, and I think more and more people are dying. But at the same time, I think the attention that it's getting is starting to help people get into recovery, and we're winding up having more people like Lindsay. I mean, I know a lot of the kids that were friends of my son's that are now in long-term recovery. You know, they have 4, 5, 6 years, and they have gotten married and have children. So there is hope. I mean, there is life after opiates, but you got to live long enough to get there.
All right, well, we want to continue this conversation. This is just the beginning. We're going to be on Facebook live after the program, and obviously you'll have questions and comments. You may be dealing with issues at home yourself, and let me tell you, the folks we have here tonight can give you some really great words of wisdom and encouragement, because as they said, as Lindsay's saying tonight, yes, you can. Yes, you can. That's after the show tonight.